Doug Gottlieb Show here on Fox Sports Radio. And for my lifetime, every Wednesday, you'd go to the mailbox and you would get your Sports Illustrated. At my mom's house in Orange, California, if you go into her garage, she's a bit of a pack rat, but and she may well be listening, and she'll nod her head a little bit when I say this. There are several boxes that have all the first, second, third editions of Sports Illustrated, the first year, the second year, third year. I remember because one time I was like in high school, I go digging through boxes and I found them. It's like, these are like gold. And my dad was a subscriber. And anyway, Wednesdays it would come out, and whoever the cover person for Sports Illustrated would be, like the legend of the week. And then you turn to the back page and you read Rick Reilly's piece. And Rick Reilly kind of spent some time with us here on the week where his book, Commander-in-Chief, drops, and it's already number 6 on the New York Times bestseller list. Congratulations to you.
That's crazy. It's funny because that's how I got into sports writing, because my cousin kept them all. And I remember being like 6, 7 years old and like, what is this? And all these great pictures, and Zolio Versailles. I remember him from the Twins was on the cover. And then I'd go over, every time I'd go to his house, I'd start, first you'd look at the pictures.
Right.
Then you'd steal a picture with the scissors, put it on your room. And then I started reading Dan Jenkins. And Dan Jenkins, like, whoa, what is this? And then I started reading my local paper, and it was Jim Murray, the great Jim Murray. Like, whoa, I've never read anything like this either. And I started realizing you could write sports in a completely fun, pithy, irreverent, meaningful way, I think, right, that wasn't all about stats and what they hit on Tuesdays. And I tried never to use numbers. I tried to make it about people who did sports, good or bad, funny, mad, angry, whatever. And that really made all the difference.
Your first column in Sports Illustrated was about who or about what? Do you remember?
Dale Murphy. They gave me 10 pages in the back. And I go there and he like, Rick, I'm not going to give you any time for this, but I want you to come to my house for dinner tonight and I'll tell you why. And he did all this great stuff, and his wife made a pie and he just gave me great stuff. And he goes, so that's why I can't do it. I'm like, dude, we already got the piece. And it really was great. And that's really what got me. It went so well. I got more and more assignments.
Okay. So we've reached this place with Tiger Woods where he went from being the greatest thing we've ever seen to a villain to now, then he was a sympathetic figure, right? Where we felt sorry for him. And there was the thought he would never play golf again. And I've told people, like, look, a couple things. You're never too drunk to fish, and you're never too old to play golf. And so I always thought that there would be at least one Sunday at Augusta where he probably won. Because even after Elin caught him, and there's the golf club and the car accident, I remember I was at ESPN then, and I was set to be on ESPN2 on Thanksgiving weekend. We were
2009.
doing college basketball wraps, and they're like, fellas, you guys can go home. It's like, why? Like, Tiger Woods was in a car accident, and it doesn't look good. I was like, doesn't look good? Like, he's going to die? And that was the first talk was, it doesn't look good. Then it was like, no, he doesn't look good because everything else was going to come out. So we ended up staying and doing the basketball wrap, but it became the biggest story. Anyway, we've had these different, now he's someone who he appears to be mostly back, granted, a completely different version of himself. When you see Tiger Woods at a place that you've covered 35 different times at Augusta, what are the emotions that go through you watching him when he's going to tee off tomorrow?
Well, I have no emotions about him, his golf game, which is fantastic. He's the most skilled person I've ever seen with a set of golf clubs. But I don't get, how is he a sympathetic figure? He got busted twice for pills. Illegal pills he shouldn't have had.
Yeah.
He had to be woken up twice in cars by cops on the side of the road. All his injuries were self-inflicted. He did this to himself. He tried to be an Army Ranger and couldn't because his dad was military.
Right.
He had 14 affairs going on against one of the hottest women I've ever seen was his wife. So he's got $500 million. I don't get why everyone's like, oh, no, we want Tiger so bad. He's terrible with fans. He's finally being a little nicer in interviews and smiles a little, but Phil never passes up a fan. Phil tips with hundreds. I mean, I have so many tipping stories where Tiger just stiffs the guy, or he doesn't eat dessert, so he gets up from the table and leaves no money for anybody to pay his. He was famous too young. His dad absolutely let him get away with whatever he wanted, outside the golf course. And so I think he was raised very, very poorly. And yeah, great golfer, incredible story. But I don't get this, I really want Tiger to win. You want a great kid to win who could at least try to keep up with Tiger. Root for Rory. That is a great guy who could win the career slam this weekend. I mean, he's fantastic. Ricky Fowler, Jordan Spieth, couldn't be a nicer kid who's great with everybody. So I'm not a Tiger fan outside the course. Inside, he's absolutely one of the top 5 players in the world right now. He almost won his last 2 majors. Almost, remember, he led Sunday at Carnoustie. Mm-hmm. He almost won at St. Louis, except Brooks Koepka would put on a show like I've never seen. Otherwise, he might have his major already.
Rick Reilly, our guest here on the Doug Gottlieb Show on Fox Sports Radio. You live in L.A. You're an L.A. native, so you know that this Magic Johnson story is front page news. Even we say it, even though most people don't buy the paper anymore. When you hear it, what's your immediate reaction? Magic Johnson, it's not just that he quit; it's that he just had a meeting with Jeannie Buss, and then he walks downstairs and says, "You know what? By the way, I don't want to do this anymore."
That was so un-Magic-like. He's one of my favorite people, but even when he took the job, I'm like, really? You're going to work hard at this? Because I don't see you working hard at this. Because Magic is Magic. He puts his arm around you and looks you in the eye and remembers your name. And he always with me is like, this is one of the cool guys. I'm not sure he remembers my name, but right. He always gives you that magic. And he's really personable. And I don't know, but every other job he's kind of had was like, come on, sell these guys, sell the suites, get LeBron in, great. You can do all that because nobody's more magical. But if you want him to make a whole study of how they're going to build, that's never going to be him.
I'm just surprised that he didn't hire somebody. Right? Yeah. Like just having Rob Pelinka, who he didn't hire, and they have no assistant GM, right? He's not surrounded by a cast of people.
Between Pelinka and him, they have zero experience.
Right.
So why?
And their head coach had zero head coaching experience.
But there's always some little third guy that does all the work, but I don't see anybody.
No.
Yeah, it's too bad. He's a great guy.
Rick Reilly.
He really stepped on it here.
He did. And I don't think it ruins, but it does sully the image to those of us who grew up in Southern California like I did. Like, dude, Magic can do no wrong. And now you're like, well, he didn't really do anything with the Dodgers. And the talk show is bad and the head coaching was bad. Like, but he was awesome when he played. Now he becomes an awesome player who's kind of, you start to question anything else he's done as, was he really responsible for the success?
But that's so unfair.
I didn't say it was fair. I never said it was fair. Like, none of these things are fair, but it is the reality.
You judge a man by his body of lifetime work, and he's been nothing but great and a success and achiever. And I mean, okay, he kind of stepped on this thing, but he
was terrible as an analyst for both ESPN and NBC,
and he was terrible on talk shows,
and as a head coach.
Yeah, he was terrible.
Outside of that, he was amazing.
That's why my guy Elway never gets any love. Like, they want to fire him in Denver. How many great players did really well at being the boss?
He's also taken them. They've also been to 2 Super Bowls. Yeah. as an executive too,
and 5 as a player. So that's 7, and they want to fire him in my hometown of Denver. Like, what? Don't fire him. You should build a new Capitol with his face on it.
Let's quickly get to Dan Byer, get an update on everything else in sports. I want to talk to Rick about his new book. What do you got, Dan?
A couple of updates. First of all, Par 3 contest has wrapped up. Sandy Lyle was on the verge of claiming the Par 3 championship, but the 61-year-old and 1988 Masters winner fell in a playoff to Matt Wallace of England. So
who?
Matt
Wallace?
Matt Wallace, the winner of the Par 3.
Is he related at all to William Wallace?
Yeah, I think he is. I think they're second cousins, something like that. Masters chairman Fred Ridley did tell reporters today it's very unlikely that the club would institute a Masters golf ball.
Shouldn't have been freedom. Sorry.
That's all right. Hey, it's all good.
Did you get that?
Completely over my head.
Because you've never seen the movie? Yes. Have you seen the movie?
No, never seen it.
You've never seen Braveheart?
Nope. What? Never seen it.
He's never seen any movies, Rick.
True story, Rick.
It's crazy.
Yeah, true story.
You heard Reagan was shot?
Yeah. Didn't hear about that. That's different. I'm a newsman. I've heard that stuff just in the leisure time movies.
He didn't know Ronald Reagan was an actor. That's the difference. Right? That's the difference.
Very good.
I was at a concert once. Somebody said something about Paul McCartney, and the girl goes, "He was in a band before Wings?" Oh my God!
Wait, I can top it. This is good. Okay, I was in the Twin Cities for the Final Four, Minneapolis, right? And we were walking down the street, and there was a young woman. She kept saying article with quotes. She's like, "Did you guys read the article about Aaron Rodgers?"
Yeah, my mother used to do that.
She's like, article. Like, article is not what you quote. Like, an article is like the lack of, right?
Yeah. Unless you're being facetious. Did you read the report?
Right.
Which
that
means,
wasn't
what's wrong with it?
That wasn't what she was doing. She was like, article. Article. No, anyway. Sorry, Dan. What
No,
else you
that's
got?
all right. I knew a guy who thought bottom of the hour was 45
Oh,
after.
why you got to do that? That was me. Bottom of the hour was 40-something.
Just kidding.
Okay.
Padres lead the Giants.
Technically, it is bottom of the hour.
It's the end of the hour.
The end of the hour is the end of the hour. The bottom of the hour is the second half of
nearing
the hour in
bend.
any way.
All right. Padres lead the Giants. Everyone but Doug. The bottom of the hour is 30 after. Padres lead the Giants 2-1.
Do you use the term spot when you have somebody on as a radio guest? You use the term spot. Oh, it was a good spot.
No, because I use commercial as a spot.
I do too.
Yeah.
In New York, okay? In New York, I was on with Mike Francesa. I just moved out there with CBS Radio. And I was driving home, and I got a bunch of texts. Oh, great spot with Francesa. I was like, I didn't do a spot. I was a guest. Like, no, it's a great spot. That it's a spot. Like, it's not a spot. A spot is when you do a spot, when you record a spot.
Okay, dumbest question you've been asked in sports. One time, I was leaving the Lakers game, and a guy asked me, so what I don't get is, the Kings-Lakers, right? They go back and forth with it. And he said, what do they do with the ice after the Kings game when they put down the Lakers? And I said, oh, every employee has to take a square home and put it in their freezer. And then one time, someone said, how come Greg Norman never gets picked for the Ryder Cup team? And I said, because he has a deal with U-Haul, and Ryder wants nothing to do with it.
Oh, that was one year. Somebody was like, "Man, why isn't Messi playing in the Euro Championships?" And it's from Argentina.
Yes.
Probably be a reason for that. Well, let me just tell you this: Tigers beat the Indians today, 4-1. Cardinals gave Matt Carpenter a 2-year extension. I've got news about a big New York Giants extension in the press. Lakers did fire someone today. Head athletic trainer Marco Nunez. We'll be back to the Doug Gottlieb Show and his spot with Rick Reilly in 10 seconds. But first, a word from Farmers.
At Farmers Insurance, we know a roof can withstand a lot. One exception being an airborne car. Seen it, covered it. Talk to Farmers.
We are Farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Underwritten by Farmers Truck Fire Insurance Exchanges and Affiliates. Products not available in every state.
The Doug Gottlieb Show is brought to you by Discover Card. We treat you like you'd treat you. Rick Reilly continues to join us. His new book is called Commander-in-Chief.
Could you show it?
I will. I'm going to turn it around here. So it'll be on our digital page. It'll be on my Instagram.
Will it?
Yeah, it will. It'll be on our the Facebook page as well, and throughout Fox Sports Radio and everything we do. How golf explains Trump. You do realize that you don't even have to say anything. You say the word Trump, and suddenly you lose half the people, or you gain half the people.
Yeah, you immediately just go, oh, I hate you, I love you.
Right.
Instantly, yeah.
Correct.
But here's my thing. It's not a political book. It's a golf book about a guy who cheats like a mafia accountant. And I saw it personally. And then he started telling people on the campaign trail, I've won 20 club championships. I beat the best guys in my club all the time. Vote for me. I'm a winner. I'm like, you liar, because you told me how you did it. Do you know how he does it?
No.
He buys a golf club. He owns 14 clubs.
Right. I played
He
at one of
buys
them.
the club.
Yes.
Plays the first round by himself. Declares it the club championship.
It's kind of genius, to be honest.
It's
with you.
kinda It's diabolical.
diabolical.
Right? So one time he was playing Trump Philadelphia, and they were holding it at Trump Bedminster, and he calls in at the end of his round in Philly, and he's like, "What won the tournament today? Club championship." And the guy goes, "Oh, Joe Schmo shot 74. Oh, I shot 73 up here. Make me the champion." And the head pro's like, "What? Yeah, make me the champ. I played better than that." So they take Joe Schmo down and put him up, and it just goes on and on like that. He won he won one while he was with Kim Jong Un in Singapore, and they were holding it at the one in Mar-a-Lago. So you're like, you don't get to say you're a champ if this is all like Russian history.
Okay, so where do you begin with the book? Where does it start? Does it start like in the very early ages, or when he first started playing golf? Like, what is the point of beginning when you pick up the book? Where am I going to start when I learn about this book?
I was retired. I'm
Okay.
living in Italy half the year, playing piano, playing golf, screwing around, and I kept getting these tweets about Trump's a champion. I'm like, no, he's not. Oh, Trump's a 2.8. He goes, I beat most people I play against.
2.8.
Yeah, if he's a 2.8, Tiger's a rabbi. Because I'm a 5.4, I can beat him. I bet him $100,000 I could beat him. He can't cover a two. Tiger, Annika Sorenstam, those guys say he's about a 10. He ain't no 2.8. You know how he does it? If you go on the gin.com where you report your scores, you got to have 20 scores to get a handicap. It's taken him 8 years to get 20 scores, which means he's just...
And he plays all the time.
He played 66 times.
He actually does the opposite of what everybody I know does, which is report... Sandbag, report all your bad scores. Like, yeah, I'm like a 13. You're
right.
like,
so
dude, 13, get out of here. So you stripe the ball.
Exactly. So in golf, you call that a cocktail handicap. If he's a 2.8 in my club, phone would be ringing all the time to get him to the course for $100 Nassau. 2.8? He's 72 years old. He's not bad.
So the Trump defender would say Clinton cheated at golf.
I did, yeah.
Who cheats worse?
Okay, I played with Clinton as president.
Right.
Clinton only got to play like once every 2 months. And so he wanted it to last. Trump plays in 3 hours. Clinton played in 6. And he's hitting all these... He'd play his first ball. And he had 24 clubs, by the way, way over the limit. And he'd hit what we call billigans. And he'd hit these extra shots. And we're like, oh my God, where's the first one? Because he wanted to play the first one. But the Secret Service will always be like, I think it's on the green, sir. Because everybody wants to be ambassador to Sweden or whatever. And so he played pretty well that day. But I always say, like, Clinton is the guy that goes to the bank and steals the pen. And Trump goes and steals the vault. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I always feel there's a certain charm to how Clinton does it. Where there's a...
Did you play with him?
No, I know... Here's my knowledge of Clinton is because I played for Eddie Sutton.
Right.
Who was buddies with him back when they were both at Arkansas.
Right?
Yeah. And so we would... he wasn't... I'm trying to think. He wasn't in office. He was not in office. When was he in office? I'm trying to think. I think he was in office when I was first in school there. Was it 92?
92 through 2000.
Yeah, so he was. That was my career there. So if we'd win a big game on national TV, like he beat Oklahoma on Big Monday, he'd leave a message, and coach would call us all in and play for us the message, or he'd be on the phone and he'd put us on speakerphone and he'd congratulate him. And again, like there was a certain charm to, even if he didn't really watch the game, somebody gave him the bullet points. And then they'd start joking around, and then he'd quickly pick up the phone because he didn't want the rest of us to hear all the other stuff he was talking about.
But let me tell you the difference between Clinton cheating and Trump cheating. Trump cheats like to win. He's got to win. Like losing to him is a bath to the Wicked Witch of the West. Like he's not gonna lose. So he has this. He screws around with the governor on a golf cart. Have you ever done that?
To make it faster?
Yeah. So it's 50 miles an hour, and yours is 20. So him and his caddy are way ahead, and they're throwing it out of the woods. And he's a terrible chipper, terrific driver of the ball, terrible chipper. Throw it out of the rough. He kicks it so often the caddies at Wingfoot call him Pele. So he's doing all this stuff, and then sometimes if he's way ahead and you're clear back here 200 yards, he'll take your ball and kick it in the bunker.
Oh, that's wrong. That's
wrong.
That's diabolical.
He did it to Tirico.
To Mike Tirico?
Yeah.
Who's like the nicest dude?
The greatest dude ever.
Ever. Okay, so give me one more story. Commander in Cheat is the book, How Golf Explains Trump, written by Rick Reilly. It's already on the New York Times bestseller list, number 6 with a bullet. Give me one more.
Okay. Well, it's not just about how he cheats on the golf course. There's all kinds of ways he cheats when he builds courses, but he did cheat Tiger Woods. Last 2017, playing with Tiger, Dustin Johnson, and Brad Faxon. And it's Dustin and Tiger versus Faxon and the president. And so Faxon and the president are way over here. Dustin and Tiger are way over there.
That kind of feels like a bit of a mismatch.
Yeah,
DJ and Tiger.
They play the black tees.
Okay.
And Faxon and Trump play the white tees, and Trump gets 8 shots.
Okay.
Seems still like a mismatch.
Still seems like a mismatch.
So they're left. Trump and Faxon are right. Trump fats his approach into the water. He goes, throw me another one. They didn't see. And Faxon's like, what? Throw me another. So he throws him another, fats that one into the water. Now they've seen. He drives up quickly to the lake, drops, hits it on. Tiger hits it like this for a kick-in birdie. And when they get to the green, Tiger says, what do you lie there, Mr. President? He goes, I'm putting for 4. He told him he's putting for 4 when he's putting for 7. Like, what the F? So I don't know. Say what you want. To me, golf is like bicycle shorts. It reveals a lot about a guy. And it reveals a lot about
Yeah,
Donald Trump.
it's like booze. Booze will do that as well, right? Who you are as a drunk is who you are as a dude.
You think so?
Yeah, if you're an angry drunk, you're an angry dude. If you're a funny drunk, you're a lighthearted dude.
I can remember Arnold Palmer saying, "I never do a business deal until I've played golf with a guy." And I said, "Why?" He says, "Because you can't hide who you are in 4 hours. If you're going to cheat me, you're going to cheat out here. If you're going to cheat out here, you'll cheat me in business. If you're going to have a bad temper, you're going to be bad to deal with. If you're a great guy who plays by the rules, I'm going to enjoy it."
Pretty good stuff. The book is Commander in Cheat, How Golf Explains Trump. It's written by Reilly. Rick, thanks so much for joining us.
That was fun. Thank you.